Here is what is happening in Scorpio's chart today. There is a quiet contradiction sitting at the center of it, and once you see it, you will understand why this particular Friday feels different than it looks on the surface. Something in your sixth house of daily work has been blurring a line you usually guard fiercely, and at the exact same time, your home life is asking you to draw a line more clearly than you have in weeks. Stay with me, because these two threads are about to meet in a way most horoscopes will not catch. Let us start with the slow-moving story, the one that has been unfolding for a while now. Neptune has been sitting in your sixth house, the house of daily work, routines, and obligations, paid or unpaid. In Western tropical astrology, this house governs the mechanics of your everyday functioning, and Neptune here has a specific, almost dissolving effect. It softens boundaries. It makes no harder to say. Many people carrying this transit report a strange blindness to limits they would normally respect without thinking. You might have taken on a task, a favor, or a commitment recently that, in hindsight, was not really yours to carry. That is not a character flaw. That is Neptune doing what Neptune does, melting edges until you cannot quite tell where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. Now layer in what is happening today, in real time, with the moon. The moon has moved into Aquarius, and it is making a supportive angle, a trine, to Mars, which sits in your eighth house of shared resources, intimacy, and joint responsibility. Practically, that means the moon is currently transiting your fourth house of home, and this lunar placement is talking directly to Mars. That is a rare kind of cooperation between a fast-moving personal planet and a slower, more forceful one. When the moon and Mars link up like this, especially across the axis of home and shared resources, it tends to support honest, grounded action on things that involve trust, money, or family. Not talk. Action. Here is the part most people miss when they read their horoscope quickly and move on. These two placements, the long, slow Neptune fog in your work sector and the sharp, clarifying Moon-Mars trine at home, are not separate stories. They are the same lesson, told twice, in two different rooms of your life. While the Western lens frames this as a workload boundary issue meeting a domestic clarity opportunity, you could just as easily describe both as your chart asking you to stop letting things stay vague. Neptune wants you to keep drifting in the fog of overcommitment. The Moon-Mars trine is handing you, today specifically, the exact tool to cut through fog somewhere else in your life, at home, with the people who share your resources and your roof. If you use that clarity-cutting energy well today, you may find it easier to apply the same honesty to the work situation Neptune's been clouding. You may have noticed you are more willing to say what is actually going on lately, even the uncomfortable parts. That is not accidental. There is a specific reason for it, and it is connected to your ruling planet. Mars, your traditional ruler in Hellenistic and modern astrology alike, is not just sitting quietly in your eighth house today. It is active, engaged, in that trine with the moon. Scorpio has always had a complicated relationship with vulnerability. You feel everything intensely, but you do not always show it. Tay's alignment seems to be loosening that grip a little. Being emotionally transparent, rather than guarded, appears to carry more reward than risk right now. If there is a conversation you have been avoiding with a partner, this is a day when honesty tends to land as intimacy rather than confrontation. That said, do not mistake softness for passivity. The same Mars energy that supports honest connection also favors initiative. Luck seems to favor whoever moves first today. If you have been sitting on the sidelines of something romantic, hesitant because rejection feels possible, this transit does not remove that risk. Nothing does, but it does seem to tilt the odds slightly in favor of the person who takes the chance instead of the one who waits for certainty. Here is where the Neptune thread from earlier becomes relevant again, without needing to re-explain it. That same blurred boundary energy that shows up in your work life can leak into relationships too. If you have been unclear with someone about what you need or what you are willing to give, today's clarity favoring Moon Mars link is a good moment to firm that up gently, but honestly. Let us turn to work, because this is where the fog Neptune's been generating really matters. You may have realized you are carrying more than what was actually asked of you. Maybe it is a project you volunteered for without quite meaning to, or a request you could not find the words to decline. This is the inner audit the sixth house placement has been quietly running for a while now, and today is a good day to actually look at the ledger instead of avoiding it. Ask yourself plainly, is this escapism healthy or unhealthy? Is the life you are building through overwork actually simple, or is it getting complicated in ways you have not admitted yet? There is no shame in either answer, but pretending the question does not exist is where the real trouble starts. The chart is not scolding you, it is just asking you to be a realist about what is real and what is an illusion you have been maintaining out of guilt or habit. This is where the good news lies, and it connects directly to your finances. That Moon-Mars trine touching your 8th house is not only about emotional intimacy, the 8th house also governs joint money, debt, and shared resources. If there is a financial conversation you have been putting off, updating a plan, reviewing a shared account, having the talk about who owes what, today's energy appears to support handling it directly rather than letting it simmer. Small, concrete action here, updating one document, naming one number, seems to restore a disproportionate amount of trust. You do not need to resolve everything today. You need to resolve one thing. Here is what makes today genuinely worth paying attention to, and it is easy to miss if you are only half listening. Your work sector is fogged by a boundary-dissolving Neptune, and your home and resources sector is being sharpened by a clarifying Moon-Mars trine on the very same day. That is not a coincidence your chart hands you often. It means the tool you need to fix the blurry situation at work, the willingness to name a limit clearly and act on it, is the exact same tool this transit is already strengthening in your domestic and financial life today. Practice the clarity at home. Then carry it back into the job. That insight matters for your body too, not just your calendar. Overextension does not just show up as a messy schedule, it shows up as fatigue, tension, and a nervous system that never fully powers down. A small, consistent health habit, a morning walk, a short run, even 10 minutes of movement before your day starts, tends to do more for your mood and energy right now than any dramatic overhaul would. It is a modest gesture that pushes back against Neptune's tendency to let things drift. On the subject of remedies, some Vedic practitioners might suggest specific planetary remedies for placements like this: gemstones, mantras, or timing rituals tied to Mars or Saturn. It is worth saying clearly, that kind of prescription depends entirely on an individual's full birth chart, including planetary dignity and current life period, and is not something that applies universally to every Scorpio watching this. A safer, universal version of that same impulse is simply choosing a color that resonates. Green has come up as a supportive shade in some traditions today, or spending a few quiet minutes journaling about where your boundaries have gotten soft. Turning toward home, that same 4th house moon is inviting you to actually notice your physical space today. Look around the room you are sitting in. Would rearranging the furniture, changing what is on the walls, refreshing the energy of the place help you feel more settled? This is not superstition, it is about the psychological effect of environment matching intention. If security is on your mind, this is also a reasonable day to look into a real estate question or take an honest look at a retirement account. Practical acts that reinforce the same sense of groundedness the moon is asking for. Socially, do not be surprised if your appetite for company thins out as the day goes on. You are not hiding your feelings today, and that kind of openness can be a little tiring. If evening plans start to feel like more effort than reward, Stepping back from them in favor of quiet time is not avoidance, it is alignment with what the day is actually offering you. A peaceful night intends to serve you better than forcing a social obligation that no longer fits. If travel plans are also swirling in your head right now, this is a good moment to pause rather than push forward. Big decisions made in a fog, whether that fog is literal overcommitment or just mental clutter, rarely hold up well. Give any travel plans a little more time before locking them in. A fresh perspective in a day or two will likely serve you better than a decision made under pressure now. Spiritually, today has a specific texture worth naming. There is a version of you that wants to escape the noise entirely, and there is a version of you that is being handed real tools to fix things instead of fleeing them. The wiser path today probably is not escape, it is discernment, knowing which parts of your life need release and which parts need honest repair. For those of you who like the quick specifics, the window from 2:15 to 3:15 in the afternoon is considered a favorable stretch today. Green stands out as a supportive color, and if a stranger or a trusted senior offers you guidance in the hours ahead, it is probably worth listening closely, even if it means being unusually frank in return. So here is where that leaves you. Pick one boundary at work you have let slide, and name it, even just to yourself. Pick one household or financial matter that has been left vague, and update it today. A plan, a document, a simple conversation. Take a small chance in how you show up with someone you care about, since hiding less seems to serve you better than usual right now. And if the day gets overwhelming, remember that stepping back from a plan, whether social or travel related, is not failure, it is timing. The pattern running through all of it is simple, even if the chart describing it is not. Clarity earned in one part of your life has a way of spilling into the parts still stuck in fog. You do not need to fix everything today. You just need to draw one honest line and let it teach you how to draw the next one.